So I've been on this heroine's journey thing, which is a journey that we all are on, right? The hero's journey, the heroine's journey, a journey of ascent, our lives making sense and going somewhere, and then a journey of descent, our lives falling apart and turning into a mess, generally created by something outside ourselves, a cancer diagnosis, a major loss, a divorce, and then, an integration, taking the parts of us that have kind of fallen apart and reintegrating them into some sort of new whole. And I've been on that journey. I didn't sign up for it, but I've been going through this divorce, and my divorce is about 19 months in, and it isn't done. And the cool thing about it is that it has invited me into a much more mindful space of being mindful of the descent and how I show up when I'm tired, when I'm exhausted, when I'm depleted, when I'm grieving. And so I've been writing a lot of poetry, and I have been listening for what my next steps are and kind of listening through my descent, through everything falling apart, and listening for the reintegration. And I've decided to start sharing my poetry, especially in the darkness. It's really cold in Minnesota right now. I'm in Minnesota. It's like 10 degrees, and Minnesota doesn't offer much in the winter, but it does offer time to meditate, to contemplate, to think about where you've been and where you want to go. And so I've written some poetry, and I want to share it with you today because it's poetry about my descent. It's poetry about darkness, about cold. And, we like to think that life is all about warmth and positivity, and we all know it's not. So I'm just going to share a little bit of my poetry. And I also want to invite all of you into a discussion, a Substack discussion where we talk about grief and loss and darkness and descent and reinvention, reintegration. So, anyway, just a couple of poems I wrote, and I'm going to try to share a couple every week. But I'm going to call this first poem, I Let Myself Fall Away. I let myself fall away, and the silence of it was deafening. The moan of ego's last gasp, plans falling to the floor, beliefs stripped from me like crusty wallpaper from the wall, glue and tar, and the crackling of paper. It was a mess, me tattered and shredded to pieces, losing shape, her clinging, the loss, the steel blue domesticity of flowers. I could not make any sense of me, or even form a question to ask. I beheld her, primitive piles, the dust mites on the floor, and I decided to walk away. Here's the second poem I called The Desolation of Winter. The desolation of winter, cold piled in blankets on my mind, the weight of silence, immovable loneliness, the last goodbye after all the guests leave, and I am left in that stark house, knitting my hands together to warm them. It was a night that stretched across the solstices to and promised to wane, but wouldn't. I buried myself in it, let myself sink down into the trenches I had dug. I stopped breathing for a while, melted into my tears, drowned like an anchor through dark waters, and stayed there to notice her. Thanks for listening, and let's discuss your descent into dark waters. Let's talk about what it looks like and feels like when we're at the bottom. Um, it's a good time to do it as we near the winter solstice and the night grows ever longer. And I thank you for you being a part of my Substack community. Take care.